everybody, it's your boy King Crowder, checking back in with another edition of History You May Not Know, or things that may be interesting about the U.S. history. Today's lesson is going to focus on the Tuscarora War that happened in North Carolina in September 10th, 1711 through February 11th, 1715, between the Tuscarora natives and the European settlers. The narrative at times has built with the colonies who looked for fertile soil at the time. Remember when the colonization periods happened in America? The Europeans began to move into different parts of the United States to look for places to grow a living and learn how to trade with the natives. During this time of trading, you got to understand that most Europeans were using very unethical ways with the natives. They were not keeping their word. They were not trading with fair clauses. They were not giving proper compensation. And they were even doing illegal things in the native codes. You must understand that the European waged war on the native tribe because they noticed how the natives were beginning to notice that they were not going for the swindling type of activities. The one thing that nobody talks about is that the tribe responded immediately with attacks, and war broke out with over 200 of the native people being killed and 80 of their children being captured and sold into slavery. So the Europeans drew first blood on the natives after they figured out they could not take advantage of them anymore. You must understand, this was very early on how the slavery mindset began to migrate down south. Whenever you look at the gaps in history, you must look at the points where you began to see something scale and rise up in activity. This is when really the early battles in the relationship that turned sour and the natives began to lose all support and all hostility towards the European. This changed the legacy of those natives and the legacy of the blacks and the tribes' relationship with America. Everyone began to talk about it. All of the issues began to uprise, and the violence of the English settlers erupted and destroyed any type of relationship with other natives in that area. Remember, at this time, we had the 13 colonies, the smaller colonies, and what was established land of peace treaties. Once the establishment went away, you began to see an uprising of hostility among native groups. The native groups' hostility began to destroy American camps. Even the Quakers at the time began to see this momentum shift. The fall of this tribe, and most people don't realize that those native tribes were the 5 major ones inside the U.S. As we look back on what caused the native tribes, what caused the wars to happen, looking at it, this was one of the first milestone events. Because when the Europeans had the soil, they had an agreement, they began to continue to encroach on their compadres' land. This one highlights when the Battle of America started and why it happened. Why is this so important for you to learn? Whenever you look at points in history where slavery took an uptick, when the English settlers and the European settlers began to have changes in philosophy, these points right here are not emphasized the most. This bit of information is mostly detailed because you know what point did we see a change. The legacy changed when they knew they couldn't take advantage, overcommit, or destabilize their economy. Again, the Tuscarora War was happening in the heart of North Carolina, and the start of it when you began to see the start of slavery uprise. King Crowder checking back out, y'all, with another lesson. Thought it was very important to emphasize this point of this war goes under the radar and how the European settlers encroached on the land.